And hello again, boys and girls. Welcome back to the channel, and it's your host Marley Startled. And today we'll be continuing on our Ultimate General Civil War campaign as the Confederacy, moving on to Antietam. Hopefully, we'll be able to get to Antietam or Antietam today, but we'll just see. Unfortunately, there won't be a live stream today because, unfortunately, I'm a bit of a tired boy, and I want to do a short one, and I don't want to do too much interacting, and I've got a little crick in my neck. But anyway, we were doing pretty well. Let's continue on and see what we were doing. Ow, 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 my neck. Ow. I'll sort itself out. Anyway, our army's doing pretty well. If we take a look, most of our army's pretty well equipped now. Most of their equipment is in a pretty good standard. We don't really have issues in terms of equipment, but we do have issues in terms of manpower. So our next aim will be to hopefully get more manpower with that sort of 10,000 men to increase our armies, so they're a bit larger for the incoming Antietam. Regardless, we will begin doing the skirmishes first. Really, the aim here is victories, because you can see here our manpower will not be enough to replace any losses in the next campaigns. So 12th September 1862, weapons factory. Harper's Ferry is home to a major federal... Oh, 1 second. Can I do this one first? No. Oh, never mind. Harper's Ferry is home to a major federal arsenal whose military production facilities could enrich our weaponry with rifles and ammunition. You've been ordered to advance, seize Harper's Ferry, and capture those facilities. The federal guard is marched into the heights out of the town to prepare its defense and block your advance. Move swiftly, crush Harper's Ferry guard, and clear the way to the town. We shall see how well we do. With my 12 divisions, we will begin the offence and see how that works. You've been... Oh, hello, what's this? You've been ordered to advance, seize Harper's Ferry, and capture the federal weapons factory. The guards of Harper's Ferry have left the town and captured these heights to halt our advance. Capture the heights and clear the way. So immediately bin the cavalry and bring up our cannons, because of course we do love having as many cannons as possible. From there we'll move these guys up, and our aim will be, of course, to advance, set up on this hill, and begin to move forward. Now you can see that ridge line is going to be quite difficult, so I think a broad offensive will work, but we will have to see how well that plays out. Without further ado, let us go. And we'll begin the long march. Of course, our aim will be to preserve our cannons, or to see if we get our cannons close, and we will need to inflict 5% more casualties, which is more than achievable. Of course, most of our armies aren't too bad, and so I'm not too worried about our finances, and all of our troops are pretty well equipped. I preferred to equip my troops with better equipment and leave their veterancy lower, because I felt it was more financially intelligent to do so, rather than, of course, just upgrade good troops. Because good troops with bad weapons aren't really going to do a lot, unfortunately. And we've got 2 hours to achieve this, so we can take our time. And move our troops forward like so. And then move our cannons up like so. And move mildly up like so. I've got a lot of cannons, but nothing I'm too worried about right now. Because we can begin our counter battery fire. These guys are insane. Move the cannons forward, and we lost 1 officer already. And the aim will hopefully try and push these guys off. Okay, there's our first route. Let's send up some skirmishers to halt the advance of these guys. Now their lines are collapsing. Good, 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 good. This is working out very well for us. Very well indeed. Just a bit of micro here. Just a little bit of micro. And that we should be in a position to keep on the advance. As long as these guys don't do anything silly like that. Alright, no more running. See if we can move these guys around now. Slowly trying to wear them down without too many casualties. Move mildly up. Don't move mildly up. My skirmishers. Hoping to destroy those cannons, because if I can destroy those cannons, then arguably it puts me in a really strong position. And you can see here the ranges on the guns are really helping us. A lot of casualties there. Tends to happen when you're friendly charging cannons. There's a lot of troops lost on that. And slowly chase them down. The aim is to really take those cannons, because then I can really sort of improve my cannon capabilities later on. Ah, that's a shame. So there's 6,106 to my 2,691. In terms of goals, all objectives achieved. In terms of officers lost. We lost Eric Hoffman, and our goods we were able to get 16 captured cannons and 2 10-pounder ordnances, and some pretty good Harper's Ferry weapons recovered, and a pretty good amount of Enfields captured. We did lose some Springfields, but nothing I'm too worried about. Really, the main effort will be looking at our losses in terms of our manpower and seeing if we can salvage them, which I think we can. Yeah, casualties weren't enough to warrant anything too drastic, which is good. And our cannons have done exceptionally well. I'm going to give these guys accuracy or firearms +2, and I'm going to give a commander, any commander, not really first. Some Harper's Ferries are starting to run out, but nothing too bad. To change our weapons to something a bit more affordable. Let's go for the Lee Enfields. Another major. Quite a few officers lost in that engagement, sadly, but nothing we can do about it. And that gives us 3,400. That gives us enough for another 2 regiments. So we'll go down over here, and we'll add another 2 regiments. So we'll put 1 in Army Org. See if we can make a new corps from that. The answer to that is no, we can't make a new corps, so I have to put another 1 in Army Org next. Equip these guys with anything captured, because money is starting to become a bit of an issue. So if we go with the Springfields, it's a bog standard Springfield weapon, and another bog standard Springfield weapon. And give these guys a cannon afterwards. So what cannons have we got to give them? Oh, we got lots of Napoleons. So we'll just add a load of Napoleons for this. And that should be a pretty healthy army. Still hoping to get that final stack, so we will add 1 more. We will add 1 more Army Org. Sorry guys, I was munching on a chewy sweet. Now you can see here, that trickle back is really saving us in terms of our skills. The ability to restore 18% of our losses is going to be exceptional, because it's all really a manpower game as the Confederacy, preserving our manpower as much as possible. You can see that because we've got no army info, we don't really need it, but in terms of recruitment and army restore, we're in a really good spot. And so until I need more money, which I don't at this stage, we're still going to focus on increasing the size of our troops. But regardless, we're moving on to Chantilly on the 1st September 1862. After the Second Battle of Bull's Run, the Federal Army is reforming its forces at Centerville. You're on a mission to lead a part of your army around the Union right flank, get behind the Union position, and cut off their line of retreat. While your troops are resting near Chantilly, the patrol spotted 2 Federal divisions approaching from the south. So, so we have, again, we'll send our best corps, because we want our best corps to be literal shock troops. General, 2 Yankee divisions are marching from the south to attack you. Deploy your men at this field and repel the attackers. Quickly secure the good ground on your flanks not to allow them to pass through. Reinforcements will be on their way to assist you. So we need to run down and capture these 2 positions by the looks of things, and so that's what we'll aim to do. To achieve an objective, we must at least hold 1 of these positions, the right flank or the left flank. I'll try and hold both positions, but we will see. Immediately bin our cav, because the cav is poo, and go for the cannons instead. Cannon 1, cannon 2. Oh, I can only get 1 more cannon, so if we bin one of these and add 1 more cannon, we'll be in a good spot. And the idea will be, if we take a look at this ground, to do a run and form a defensive line on both sides. And if we form a defensive line on the field and over here, we should be in a good spot. So if we immediately run over, and then immediately move our cannons on the right, the center, and the left, and then move mildly over here. Our cavalry is going to flank around. Our infantry is going to run down over here as well. So let's send the cavalry to deal with this. Lost a cover like here, not very good. Go move troops over here and over here as well. So the first naughty division is on its way. We'll see how well these guys perform in combat. I'll send the skirmishers back because that's 3 prisoners. They are flanking, aren't they? Noted. Let's try to see if they still got that unit moving over there. They do. hoping here to do more damage to these guys than they are to us. You got very lucky there. Very lucky. So far it's just about whittling them down, making sure that they keep attacking in piecemeal. And that was the enemy we were expecting. And then we're going to retreat our cavalry back once more. With a little bit of micro. And then move this cavalry over here just in case. These guys are starting to take a lot of casualties. And once again we're going to withdraw. Yeah, cover's not the best there, but I'm hoping that will win the artillery duel. And bring the cavalry round again. And withdraw back once more. That's a constant trying to shift the dynamics so they're not putting too much pressure on me. That's the sort of idea. So they push, I counter push from flank and push them back. And slowly but surely wear them down. Which, as you can see, is working rather well. Apart from some significant casualties, but bearing in mind that I'm more or less wiping the enemy out, I can't complain too much. These cavalry are doing extremely well with those palmettos. No, not Bedford Forest being wounded before Antietam. This is where you're starting to see the numbers start not going in your favour. Antietam will be a bit of a battle. And then we'll move our supply wagon all the way over here. See if we can do some bushwhacking on those artillery pieces. It's okay, this ain't too bad. This is a pretty workable situation. I thought for a second I didn't record. We'll just wear these guys out. We can afford to wear out troops on this. We're winning rather well, so there's no need to get too, what's the phrase? Conservative. Now I can slowly turn the flank and push these guys off. You're using the trees for cover. It's not easy all being green, as Kermit the Frog said. Glorious victory. But once again, my guy's running out of ammo, so literally running out of ammo. And slowly put them in this sort of encirclement. No, 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 no. Cube. Gotta do some heavy micro that cav. And that's Ferrero surrenders. That's another 1,000 men. I'm hoping this will be enough to weaken what's left of the Union army for Antietam. Yeah, no, that's insanity. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Make sure the cannon's going up. And that's the end of the battle. So, they brought 23,384 men. I brought 12,052. I lost 1,694 men. They're 15,743. Generally, in these battles, you are going to start going up against Union group troops that are much larger and therefore more able to meat grind you. But as long as you've got good defensive positions, you're using the woodland and you're using artillery of cavalry to sort of tactically dominate, then you should be fine. And as you can see in this battle, they 10% of 20,000 is 2,300. So let's go to 2,500 to round it up. 520 or half 50% is about 12,000 men, 12,500 men, I think. So they've lost about 50% of their army, as opposed to my 1,200. Well, less than 10%, about 5% of my army. So things are pretty good. Unfortunately, we lost Nathan Forrest for the next battle and Braxton Bragg, who were both wounded. But of course, most of my guys were upgraded, and we had captured an awful lot of Harper's Ferry rifles and quite a few bits of supplies as well. We did rescue a lot of our equipment to boot. But that's the sort of battle you want, because that's a battle that will now allow me to upgrade to another corps. So once I go back to Army Org, that should now allow me to make a new corps with whatever troops I now need. So I'll add one more troop for this brigade. Give these guys something captured. Springfield first let's upgrade these guys first. Let's make sure these guys are good. 1,500. There's no point doing this yet, but we'll do it anyway. Marksman training, firearms, reload time, and accuracy. Or melee, morale, and stamina. Morale is always good, and stamina is always good, so I'll take both of those.
Yes, sir.
But we won't be able to exploit that until later. Cavalry did well. I'm quite impressed with our cavalry. We did lose some troops. Veterans would cost me 16,000 men, so we'll give this cavalry 16,000 men. Sadly, Bedford Forrest is wounded for Antietam, so one of our historical generals. I don't think he fought at Antietam, but Still, I would have liked a historical character as part of my army. A fairly easy battle. A lot of my guys are going to be very upgraded for this battle now because of how easy that battle was. Cannon's in good shape. Everything is pretty good. The Confederate army is a very strong one. I'm quite impressed so far of the ability to maintain the army size as it is. Some cannons were lost, but nothing I can't handle. And with that, all of my troops are good to go. I can now add the final cannon to these guys. I'm going to add another Napoleon for them, or the shotgun effect, and then we're going to add a new corps with our final 1,000 men. Unfortunately, I can't get any more manpower, but I can, of course, upgrade what I've got. Give these guys the budget weapons, because, of course, we can afford the budget weapons for these guys. One budget weapon. And another budget weapon. And we can afford just, what about one more? We'll go to 1,400 for these guys. There we are. Just use all our manpower. And let's see what we can do about upgrades. So, the Springfield, 1855, we've got a lot of in the armory, and that's the best weapon we can get right now. So the Enfield has a range of 340 and accuracy of 67. This has a range of 350 and an accuracy of 70. So the Harper's Ferry or the M1855s are our best weapons right now. So what we'll do is we'll go through and make sure all our weapons have got something similar. So we don't have enough of that. Oh, yeah, the Harper's Ferry M1855. So is this the Harper's Ferry 1855? Nope. So we'll take this. Another Harper's Ferry. And a final Harper's Ferry. Oh, we can't get another Harper's Ferry. That's a shame. Not the end of the world, but we'll start equipping the any other troops with the better weapons. I like the Lorenz. I don't know why. I've just got a soft spot for it, so that's why I'm sticking to Lorenz, because of its melee. I probably shouldn't, but I'm doing it anyway. And we'll go for speed, because I like speed. Fast units, this allows me to maneuver more and more effectively get those encirclements. Start giving these guys the Springfields. I like the Lorenz. I like the Lorenz.
Yes, sir.
And that's all we can give these guys, so we'll finish off with an upgrade on these weapons. So make sure that what these guys got. A lot of these guys got Springfield still, so I'm going to have to change these weapons out. A lot of these guys got Palmettos and Springfields, which I don't really want. So now we're going to start changing our third corps to have some better weapons. So if we go down here and give these guys some Enfields. That's annoying. Oh. I want 1,500 men for each corps. So Enfield, Enfield. What guns have these got? Palmetto, happy with that. Suppose we'll have to start giving these guys Mississippis. And then the Palmettos will be the next thing on the agenda, so let's take a look. So is the Springfield better than the Palmetto? The Springfield has a damage of 18, a range of 250. The Palmetto has a range of 250, damage 18. Damage 18. Pretty much the same equipment, so it doesn't really change much by the looks of things. I'm not going to bother changing it. Anyway, now of our 4 corps, so 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 66,000, 70,000 odd men. We should be in a pretty strong spot for Antietam. So this is a pretty strong point for the army. If we win, we'll get 12,500 men. Hopefully it's not going to be too costly a battle. But historically speaking, it was a fairly drawn out, painful battle. So we'll do a bit of historical discussion. Not too knowledgeable Antietam, but I'll give you a general vague concept of what occurred. So Antietam, 17 September 1862. We've entered the state of Maryland to bring the war into Union territory. General McClellan moves to intercept us with a much bigger army. We are outnumbered, but we shall prepare to meet our enemy near the town of Sharpsburg, creating a solid defense behind Antietam Creek. We must not lose this battle, or General McClellan will be able to encircle and destroy our army. So, we've defeated the enemy at the Battle of Second Bull's Run, so they have a minus 5% army size. We've defeated the enemy at the Battle of Chantilly, so they've got minus 5% army size. And we've defeated the enemy at the Battle of Harper's Ferry, so they've got minus 15% army size. If we win, we get a lot of men. If we lose, we're pretty close to losing the campaign if we lose, so we can't really afford to lose. So, we have entered the state of Maryland to bring the war into Union territory. General McClellan moved to intercept us with a much bigger army. We are outnumbered, but we shall prepare to meet our enemy near the town of Sharpsburg, creating a solid defense behind Antietam Creek. We need to deploy at least 3 corps to cover the area to protect our left, centre, and right. The rest of our army is marching from Harper's Ferry and will soon join us. We must not lose this battle, or General McClellan will be able to encircle and destroy our army. Good luck. So, history time. This is really just after these amazing successes General Lee had at the Peninsula Campaign, effectively causing McClellan to turn tail and run. Now, what then happened is, of course, General Lee then moved forward because he was knowledgeable of the fact that he couldn't really. It was wintering his troops in Confederate territory would put too much of a demand on the Confederate food and supply. And so the idea was to move into Union territory to live off the land in the Union armies and to sort of feed the army, hopefully, over there, while also putting pressure on the Union. Of course, by moving forward, McClellan, with massive groups of troops, then began a counterattack, and it ended up at Antietam Creek. Now, Antietam Creek was quite a precarious situation for the Confederacy because they were pretty much surrounded in much like a sickle shape, with the Union coming over here, moving over in this front, and even moving a little bit from behind. This was a drawn-out battle and really was sort of a stalemate, but it left General Lee in a very precarious situation. However, because of the indecision of the Union generals, they were able to. General Lee was able to withdraw after the battle back into Confederate territory. This was another sort of indecisive battle, mostly because of the mentality of the Union generals at this time, which was just very indecisive and just did not push through the advantage. So although it was a draw in the term of a tactical battle sense, it was sort of a defeat for the Confederacy because, of course, they didn't really achieve much and they were forced to withdraw back into Confederate territory to live off the land. Well, also it was sort of a tactical defeat for the Union as well, because they first could not succeed in breaking the Confederate troops at Antietam, but also they did not follow through. So although they held the field, their offensive didn't achieve a lot. But if you think it on the wider scale of things, by forcing the Confederacy to retreat, they once again had to live off Confederate territory, and therefore this put a strain on the Confederate war effort. So again, what you tend to find in the Civil War is, although you get draws and some good stalemate battles for the Confederate side, unfortunately the Confederacy could not survive or could not succeed with draws, and for every draw the Confederacy got weaker while the Union just continued to get stronger, and the Union could survive the constant battles of stalemates. What the Confederacy needed was decisive battles to destroy Union armies and to put pressure on the Union by, of course, threatening Washington and threatening the North. But in most cases, either the Confederacy achieves draws or just tactical successes in battles that do not equate into strategic successes later on down the line. Antietam is a good example of this, and because of this battle, Abraham Lincoln was able to proclaim the Emancipation Proclamation, which I believe that all captured or requisitioned slaves were then emancipated and freed, but I don't know specifically. I don't think it was the amendment yet. It's been a while since I did my revision, but now that I studied the Emancipation Proclamation. But all you need to know is that because of that Emancipation Proclamation, It really heralded the end of European intervention because with that proclamation, most European powers were dissuaded from even considering to intervene because if they were considered to intervene to protect the continued process of slavery, it would be massively damaging to their political strength or their political position and would be too much of a PR hit. So that Emancipation Proclamation was what achieved the ability to dissuade the European powers to intervene. The question of whether or not European powers would have intervened is up to historical debate. A lot of people say that was a pipe dream, but there was some mild discussions about it in the UK, and France, of course, had some mild discussions, but then the French had issues in Mexico, so they didn't really consider too much about it. They were too busy getting clapped. Actually, I don't know if they won that, the French, but I don't think they did. I think they did not too well in that campaign. Anyway, long story short, no, I think actually did exceed, but the French didn't intervene. I can't remember. I don't know the Franco-Mexican War, so it's not really, it's beyond me. But this also had the double impact of causing the Confederacy to really double down and go, oh, look, they're taking the slaves, and really just, what do you call it, reinforce their will to fight. And so, although it achieved one thing, in the Emancipation Proclamation in securing against the threat of European aggression, it also meant that the war would have continued for longer because now it was indeed a battle concerning slavery and not about federal rights. Whereas before, the argument could be that slavery was not under threat and that the North was simply just trying to stop the South from seceding. Upon the Emancipation Proclamation, it became clear that the war was now going to be based around slavery, which had the dual effort of causing the Confederates to fight longer and harder, or members of the Confederacy to fight longer and harder, while also giving the Union troops a cause célèbre to actually fight and continue fighting. Antietam's a good battle because even though it was a draw, the North played it off as a victory, and from that victory, the Emancipation Proclamation came to be. But it's another case of bad generalship on the North side and the inability to achieve decisive battle on the South side. So on the left flank, we'll put our best corps, on the centre, we'll put our middling corps, and on the rear, we'll put our final corps, and then our reinforcements of our two divisions will move up finally as the reinforcements, giving us 80,000 men, 300 guns, and 71 brigades. So this is the town of Sharpsburg. The nearby area offers good defensive positions that will help counter the Union army of General McClellan. Antietam Creek on the east helps us defend our right flank. The bridge should be defended because the Federals will surely attempt to cross it. The river has several other possible passages, but we do not have enough men to guard them all. I would quibble that because I have a lot of men. We expect the main bulk of the Union army to arrive from the valley situated in the north of the town. We must guard our left flank and Nicodemus Hill. We should also place most of our infantry in these woods that will provide good protection from enemy fire. Our line will extend eastward, up to this location along the sunken road. From here we can dominate the river crossing to the east. The rest of our troops are on their way and will arrive on this road. The Union army is in position and may attack at dawn. Be wary, General. Union forces are approaching from the north. We must hold our defensive lines and establish in the woods. Nicodemus Hill is a perfect place for artillery and shooting the flanks. Our main objective is not to allow the enemy to capture Dunker Church area, which will allow their further advance towards the town and our supply centre. Furthermore, the church provides an excellent sight range that will help us track the Union's movements. We expect our first reinforcement to arrive in about 2 hours, so it's not advised to overstretch our lines. Watch your flanks and hold tight. So, in this battle, it's a bit of a trick battle again. They want you to sort of hold up here, but in truth, you want to fall back from that hill because it's not a necessary objective to hold Nicodemus Hill. And so you want to immediately withdraw back and form a somewhat defensive line along these forests here. At the same time, you want to hold the fence line of the creeks and form a very strong defensive line along this sector. By doing so, you can make an extremely potent defensive force that will pretty much annihilate most of the Confederate or most of the Union troops. But the main punch will come through the center route, and they will aim to really break through upon here. So you need to really fortify this area, and then maybe leave a few units here if you're feeling a little bit precarious. So the first thing we do, set these guys to run and move here, move here, move a reserve here, move our cannons here, move our infantry up here. Move our cannons over here as well. And then move our reserve here. I'm even tempted to bring another cannon over here as well. And then our final position will be over in this sector to avoid any advances of the Union troops over here. And with that, we should be good to go. Everyone needs to run. Mr. Marl Lee can move over here as well. I'm not too worried about the north. Depending on how well I've been doing, it may be that this is a sort of a wet squib and we just deal with really weak Union troops, but we won't know until the actual battle starts. Yeah, this is a wet squib. This is good. Very good. Yep, they're very weak. This is really good for us. So I think historically this field was an absolute slaughter ground. If you want a good reenactment of the Antietam field, you want to play a meme game called Darkest of Days, where you are a time-traveling agent who fights in historical battles with modern weapons and period weapons, and you have one battle or one level where you actually fight at Antietam, but you fight with an assault rifle. So bear that in mind. I want to wear down that position because they've got what appears to be very accurate weapons. They've got good sight lines, which I don't like. We are seeing troop movements on the left, so I'm going to relocate some of my cavalry units on that left flank because we no longer have troops guarding that hill, so I can't really see what they're doing up there. Still, because we've been sort of hammering the Union army throughout, making sure we try and achieve decisive battles, we haven't been in a position too much where things have been going too badly, and so that's why their troops are so weak. Yeah, they're trying to push, but they haven't got the numbers for what they're trying to do. They're going to get mowed down. Nice try, Big Shags. But, you can't win this. They've got some fairly strong units like the Iron Brigade, but they can't compete with the concentration of cannons on this sector. And with our reinforcements, we can set up another defensive line along here. Oh. Send the cavalry up here as a reserve. And then send these units over here. Ouch. The Iron Brigade, extremely well, extreme veterancy, so they're very difficult to break. These guys will pretty much fight to the last unless you get a good flanking hit on them. The Federals are sending another attack wave. They're greatly outnumbered. General Dunker must hold. Dunker Church must be held, or else our left will certainly collapse. The sunken road creates a dominant defensive position and will anchor our right flank. Be careful to guard the bridge. So in this case, the enemy will begin crossing that bridge en masse. They may even send troops to flank around us on this sector. And so what we need to do is start setting up what's called a kill ground, literally over here. So we send a load of troops over here, pretty much send all the cannons over here as well, send pretty much everything over here, send our supply wagon over here. And then send these guys up to secure the northern sector. We can even send more cannons up if we so choose, up to the north. But you can see Antietam is a bit of a wet squib because of how well we've been doing. If we're really desperate, we can retreat troops back. But I don't think we're going to need to do that. So we need to hold the sunken road and Dunker Church. So we'll leave some troops here just in case. Just in case I am wrong and I've forgotten what I'm actually doing. Yeah, these guys will literally rout before they break. I'll move a cannon over here as well so you get a bit of crossfire. Potentially move a cannon, cavalry up to do some scouting. See if we can get those cannons. Cannons. Damn, you guys are fast turners. Nope, I'm pretty comfortable with how well I've been able to contain the troops here. Looks like they're still massing troops in the north, but that is not really going to stop me. Okay, send this cavalry over here, send this cavalry up. Keep on trying to aim to destroy their cannons. Okay, these guys are pretty pooped now. What equipment have we got? Lee Enfields. So retreat these guys back. Probably shouldn't have done that like that, but hey ho. Move the new troops forward. And begin trading. There's the enemy. And all their glory. Oh, we may have to go to performance mode now, boys, because actually the battle's getting pretty intense. Maybe even turbo mode. I forget how well equipped these troops are. Oh, they've really massed on this side, haven't they? But I may have to relocate my army. They're massing on the left. I have to redirect troops to the left then. Luckily I brought some cannons there and we've got some more reinforcements. That cav better not rout. Or surrender, I'll be very upset. Another push from the field. See how well that turns out for you. You can see it's not going to turn out very well. I don't think performance mode is helping, so I'll just go back down to performance turbo mode is helping, so I'll just go back to performance mode. Some fairly costly trades on the left flank. But the Union army is more or less being contained on that bridge crossing. Right, these troops are going to move back. Otherwise my cavalry runs the risk of dying. My cavalry is going to go to the corner of the map, so you're going to go all the way over there and do nothing. As long as our cannon batteries are still intact, we can mow these guys down. Like we've done 744 kills there. We've still got a reserve corps in case they do break through our lines. And whatever's left of this unit is more or less dead. So we can start moving forward to crush this. Porter's bridge crossing has been disastrous. It seems the AI has decided to concentrate all its forces. It's a pretty understandable thing because, of course, its forces aren't very strong. If they did do a general offensive, then it wouldn't work. So it appears like they've moved most of their troops to the north to try and do a concerted mass push in the north, which is understandable. I can see the logic. I can see the method to that madness. Start moving these troops in. See if we can move up another reserve. And yeah, there's our next division. Oh god. Maybe I spoke too soon. The Union hordes are coming. Alright, first route, gonna move the next troops in. I think most of these troops will be more or less contained, so we'll start moving up these guys to shore up the north. Go on, get me a volley on these guys. Deletes them. Yes. I do love watching elite troops get collapsed. They are trying to do a bit of a mini sickle stroke, but just don't think they've got it in them to pull it off. Where's my supply wagon? Move up here to supply or resupply that ammunition. Go for those guys there, that's being a nuisance. trick is not to charge this. It may look like, oh, I can get a load of prisoners here, but there's a little bug here where they all fire at once and just literally delete routes of your troops. So don't charge this. Whatever you do, just slowly wear it down. I would be tempted to keep pushing here, but my big concern is I hate it when they do that. I hate it when they shuffle, unit shuffling. The reason why these guys unit shuffle is because there's people in front of them, so they think, okay, I'll just shuffle along the line and fill in a gap. And what that means is that they'll unit shuffle and then they'll rapidly die in pain and suffering. Like now. So we'll take up more reinforcements to the north. Now this is pretty much well contained. Most of these troops are more or less done for. How's that supply wagon? We need to go over here now. And we'll begin shifting troops over to this sector as well. Oh god, I love it when I've got a well-equipped army. Tempted to retreat this back if possible. Move these guys forward to take over the slack. And then finally we'll move these troops back up north. I've got a massive units here, but I'm not too worried yet. Got a slew of units here. I believe that's the term, a slew. So this battle's gone very well, really because I've been making a purposeful effort to decisively cut down the Union forces each battle so they don't have a chance to get overly large or overly strong. Just trying to aim to wipe out the cannons now. There are a lot of units, but none of them are really strong enough to contest them anymore. Apart from those ones at the back, but they're just trying to reorganise, and good luck trying to achieve anything with whatever's left. There's like one cannon left over here. Burnside attempts to cross the bridge. The Blue Cloaks launch their last attempt to break us. They seem to mobilise their forces to pass the stony bridge. It's time to fight here. Well, the tables have turned significantly. Now my aim is to destroy them before Burnside can reinforce. The city of Sharpsburg must be defended, so we just leave troops in Sharpsburg, and then we immediately move troops to protect everything here. I believe troops can move forward south as well, so we're going to move some troops south to block. And once again, the cannons are moving in. An absolute horde of troops coming in now. Burnside, no! I've got to make sure I'm microing up here. Otherwise this is going to happen. So they did. They did indeed secure the stony bridge. Good luck, though. Good luck, that's all I can say. If you can hold that position, I will let you win. If you can take that, I will surrender. I don't need to hold the stony bridge, so I couldn't care less. I love the Burnside special. A prelude for what's to come with Burnside. I mean, we could move to capture this, but it doesn't really help us with anything. Oh wow, you achieved a route. I mean, these are my worst core, so I don't blame you for achieving a route here. But saying that, I may have to move up another core to reinforce this just in case. Another brigade. This is where we begin the crushing advance. I'm afraid I have no more ammo to give you, old boys. We'll just have to fight without ammo and scavenge. Yeah, all my troops are tired from the long march, but if I'm tired, these guys are shattered. I'm gonna start marching to the end now. Pity I can't get these guys to run because I have pretty much have these guys in a state of complete encirclement. If only General Lee had been able to pull off a victory of this caliber. Yeah, I've got troops outflanked, but it's not the end of the world. I gotta get rid of this cannon still. Move up to deal with this cannon. I have no idea what these guys are firing at. And Burnside. The Burnside special. It's over for the Burnside special. You see how much casualty? See, this is the bug. There's like a ton of troops here, and they're all stacked on each other, and you just lose millions of men if you try and push across that bridge. That bridge is a bug. Watch out for that bridge. We can speed up now. The entire northern divisions was deleted. Yeetus, delete us. Charge. Get me some sweet casual prisoners. Oh, there's a supply wagon I can take here. And with that, the army is destroyed. Oh, and our reinforcements have arrived. A bit late, boys, but it's not really much of a battle left to fight, if I'm honest. So I just retreat everyone back. Form a big old line again. I'm not going to try and cross that bridge, I'm just going to retreat from it. My troops are getting mown down for literally no gain. If they want to fire, if Burnside wants to fire his batteries, let him fire his batteries. I'm not going to die doing this. Thanks for the supplies, boys. We still got a healthy contingent there, but because of that bridge bug, if you dare go over there, that's going to die horribly. Take a lot of casualties trying to hold this position. Start retreating these guys back as well. Including the weakened cannons. I wonder if I can cross up north. I can. New plan. Quite the bold move, boys. Quite the bold move. I do like Burnside. There's something I like about Burnside. I feel like he's like a very unlucky general. Every single time he tries to conduct offensive actions, they always end up being butcheries and slaughters. But at the same time, Grant also has quite a bit of butchery as well, but no one really complains about poor old Grant. It's fine when Grant does it, but when Burnside does it, everyone tells him off. That's not very fair. You should have moved the cannons up here as well. We'll move them up now. I'll send some more reserves up this way as well. Thank you for the supplies. I'll send them down this way. I'll send another corps up this way as well. Have I got any more corps coming down? I do, but they're not really in a state to run. Any more corps? I keep calling them corps, not corps, so brigades. But another supply wagon, I'll take that. This will probably be what I need for encirclement. If I can just consolidate all my troops here. You guys just plonk yourself here. I have nowhere to run. And now you can crush them. Like so. Like bugs. Oh, they just run past me. They can just do that as well. There we are, one surrendered troop. Now my own troops are surrounded. That's annoying. so many cannons behind us. I could move to delete the entire Confederate Union army if I so chose. So that's what I intend to do. Sorry, Burnside. You did this to yourself. Don't run, please. And I believe that is the decisive victory. There's a couple of cannons left I can deal with, but I don't really feel the need to. I could send some my cavalry around if I so chose. No, I finished the battle. So, that was an interesting battle. Not really actually that challenging because, of course, my strategy of because the campaign is persistent and depending on how well you defeat the Union army depends on their size and number and so on and so forth. As well as sort of elastic band mechanics, so you always have at least an army to face. The Battle of Antietam in this scenario, for me, for this campaign, was fairly easy, and the Union troops I was facing with were somewhat undermanned initially, followed by some acceptable forces towards the end. The IR was fairly clever here because it knew it had limitations on manpower. It didn't try and attack on a broad front. It massed its reinforcements in the north to try and attack on the left northwest, and then of course when the new divisions spawned, they did try and break across. But the key problem here was because I did so well early on, my troops are so well equipped, I could pretty much mow down the Union troops, and that meant that I could really do really annihilate the Union. And because of course they were sending reinforcements one after the other, I was able to really just do a lot of damage, and my army is at such a good size at this stage that it wasn't too difficult a battle. This is what could have been, I suppose, could have been a real good battle. Now, could have been what could have been if General Lee had successfully been able to destroy the army in detail, but alas, not the case. In this case, we'll still have to withdraw historically, but it is what it is. So their infantry size was 61,000 to my 66, but bearing in mind their troops came in chunks, so it wasn't all together. They had 2,300 cavalry to my 3,000, and they had 297 guns to my 316. Their losses were 47,000 men, so half of 60 is 30. 10% is 6,000, so about 36, 42, 47. 50, 60, about 70% of army was more or less wiped out, where as opposed to me, 6, 12, about 22% of my army was wiped out. So as casualties go, are pretty acceptable casualties. I'll get lots of those back, so it's not the end of the world for me. In terms of officers, we did lose a Tidball, but apart from that, everyone else has got wounded, and goods that's really why we're trying to destroy the army, is to get those captured Harper's Ferries, because then we can use them to really equip our armies. If we just fight conservatively and don't aim to destroy the Union army each battle, then we won't get those captured guns, and that means that we won't be able to equip our troops well enough for the next battles, and that means more casualties, which we can't replace. So aiming to destroy to get those captured guns, that means my new armies will hopefully be able to be much more effective at combat. In any case, we now get Robert E. Lee as our commander, so guess what? Robert E. Lee is going to take over command here. And they're going to, of course, go for speed. Speed. Infantry. And then let's go for, if he's in an active aura, cover or melee. Speed and stamina, let's go for cover and melee. So we now need to repair our armies. First thing first, we need to save the game and then see what we're going to expect at Fredericksburg, which should be a pretty fun time for us as a Confederacy. It ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. As the Confederates at Fredericksburg, it's actually pretty fun. So again, we want 3 corps and hopefully some reserves if we can afford it. So if we go back to camp, we will try and get at least 3 corps from that. So first thing first is, of course, to rebuild our armies, which shouldn't be too bad because of our trickle back. I'm not going to get enough troops to fill out another corps, so I'm going to spend some money on the economy now so that I can lose less money when equipping my troops. I could go for training, but I don't want to. Simply because it's expensive and I'd rather have better equipment, and I only will spend money on training if either I've maxed out my training skills or I feel like I took an awful lot of casualties for my units and therefore I have no choice but to upgrade them to an acceptable standard. In this case, because it was pretty much a Confederate turkey shoot. The point I will make is that because I pretty much ignored the game and didn't try to hold Nicodemus Hill and use the terrain to my advantage, I was able to really just draw out ridiculous levels of success. Of course, we are starting to run out of cannon ammunition in the larger battles, and so we will also have to add money to increase the size there. I think we're going to be I think this ain't going to be too painful, but you can see here we are just about maintaining troop size rather than, how do I put it, increasing troop numbers, which is a bit irritating, but not the end of the world. I had hoped a bit more of an effect, I'd have a bit more troops to spare, but I guess not. I think at the end of the day I will be able to afford to buy a couple more corps, but what will probably happen is I'll end up turning one of my corps into a reserve corps, just to hopefully train up if I've got time. But if not, I will just have to close them down and use the manpower and use that as a manpower bank. A lot of troops did very well here. You can see here a lot of them are well trained, a lot of them have high morale. A pretty good battle so far. So the next step will be, of course, to fix our final corps. Okay, we're going to maintain. Maintaining ain't too bad. I had hoped perhaps to go a bit larger than maintaining. But maintaining this fairly well-sized army is pretty acceptable. Appears that I may have lost a unit here. Don't know how.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty much a perfect maintain. Yep, perfect maintain. Yep. Take a look at our troops over here. They're all fine, they're all happy, there's no issues regarding that. and other troops over here. All these guys are full sized, so now we'll spend some of our points on getting more manpower. But no morale effects, so I'm not going to complain too much, and that will be to increase the size of our troops here. Give them some good equipment, such as some of those captured Harper's Ferry rifles, and add another corps or division. Actually, we'll add basic stuff first because I'd rather not. I'd rather upgrade the new stuff before I move on. Add a cannon. Got to be those Napoleons because of the shotgun effect. And add another infantry corps. Good. Now it's just a case of replacing all the damaged and dead troops. We'll buy a better commander for our more elite units. Let's go for firearms and accuracy. And let's bring these guys up to marksman training. Good, 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 good. This is a very strong force. I'm very impressed by this, especially this early on. Unfortunately, we are hemorrhaging officers hand over fist, which is a tad irksome, but again, not much that can be done. I may go for another cannon corps. Give me some... I've got 50 £10 ordnance coming now. Speed and stamina. Always a good thing, because if your troops are exhausted, they're going to take a lot of penalties. Oh. And the final corps, these guys can just have whatever. So I'll increase the supplies up to 30,000 for each. And see what we can equip these guys with. So we can't afford the CS Richmond, sadly. But we have the 1855 Harper's Ferries. But all of these guys, I think... Oh, these... are they pretty much the same? So the Springfield has a range of 340. The Harper's Ferry has a range of... No, Harper's Ferry is better. Harper's Ferry, Harper's Ferry. Harper's Ferry. I take captured Harper's Ferry any day. Then we'll take the Springfields next. We'll keep that unit because that unit's got some pretty good equipment. I do like the Lorenzers. We'll keep the Lorenzers just for a meme. Mississippi's can get replaced by the Harpers, by the Springfield. 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 Harper's Ferry. Fine, keep that. Springfield. Oh, I can't afford the final Springfield. And the next one underneath will be the Tyler, Texas, which no one can afford. Then Lorenz is next. So this has a better melee but worse reloading. So the Enfield is the future. Enfield, 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 Enfield. Lorenz, Mississippi. Start replacing these weapons with the Enfield.
Yes, sir.
And you've already got an Enfield. You've got an Enfield. Give everyone Enfields. The British have been kind to us. Alright, I'll start equipping what's left of Lorenz's. And then what else can I equip these guys with? Mississippi's next. I'm not going to sell any of these guns yet until I absolutely have to when I fully upgrade my economy. But I think that's most of the army. Pretty well equipped now with some exceptionally good guns. You guys have got crap reloading, but your millie's good. I just like Lorenz. I don't know why, I just like the Lorenz. I think because my last victory I focused on the Lorenz rifles, and so that's probably why I like the Lorenz so much, even though they're probably not that good. I think it's just a melee, so if anyone charges you, they just die immediately. Good. That means we are now ready for the next scenario. So Fredericksburg will be the next scenario, but first we need to fight Prairie Grove and Corinth. The time is now 8 o'clock, but that was the Battle of Antietam, and I think we're going to end it here. If you've just spent the next 5 minutes watching me build my army, I do apologise. I perhaps should have told you ahead of time, but you get the general idea now if you've seen this schedule of how I do the battles now as recordings. So far, so good. Fredericksburg shouldn't be too much of a challenge for us. Fredericksburg is sort of the free win for the Confederacy. But then it moves on to Chancellorsville, which is not a free win, is in fact extremely painful, and you should be trying to win Chancellorsville on the first day because of just how awful Chancellorsville is. It is an awful, awful level. So enjoy Fredericksburg in all its glory with the garbage Union troops attacking, and then look forward to Chancellorsville, which is just butchery. This is butchery, and of course you're starting to see the decline in manpower coming in. But it'll give me plus 20 command, and hopefully with this extra troops on these, we should be in a good spot to build up our cores a few more times before Chancellorsville. Oh, yeah, our cores, I believe. Yeah, cores, third core, second core, third core, fourth core. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I did try and improve the audio for the fellow who asked. I did increase the volume a little bit. But things are good. Things are looking out really well for us. We've got some really good equipment, and we're in a good spot to continue fighting against the Union. However, we have two big battles coming up, which will be Chancellorsville, which will be extremely difficult to win and is very costly. And then Gettysburg, which is a bit of a damp squib. And then, of course, we will have Chattanooga, which really is the end point for the Confederacy in terms of the good times, and we'll start grinding to a halt. However, we're in a good spot of 4 cores. If we can keep the 4 core size, I see us doing extremely well and not losing. But, of course, if we can't maintain those 4 cores, or keep on increasing by Chattanooga, things will slowly take a turn for the worse. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later. Adieu.